Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open the playbook on how elite training is really built. This isn't just theory, it's a blueprint inspired by methods used at the National Defense University of Malaysia. You know, when you see someone performing at the absolute peak of their game, it's not by accident. For these elite performers, fitness isn't a hobby, it's a science, and it's all built on a rock-solid strategy. So, that's the big question, right? What does that blueprint actually look like? Well, let's dive in and break down the systematic approach that the pros use to get into peak physical condition. First things first, just like any good military operation, you have to start with a clear objective. You need to know what the mission is. And fitness is exactly the same. And really, it all boils down to two main things, two prime directives, if you will. Number one, improve performance. And number two, reduce the risk of injury. Any good plan has to do both of these at the same time. I mean, what's the point of getting stronger if you just get hurt and can't perform, right? Okay, so before you can build any kind of plan, you have to do some recon. You need to know your assets, and in this case, that means understanding the different components of physical fitness. We can pretty much split fitness into two main categories. On one side, you've got your health-related fitness. Think of this as the foundation, the engine that keeps you going in your daily life. On the other side, there's motor-related fitness. This is more like the high-performance tuning that allows for really skilled athletic movements. So digging into that health-related side, you have the things you probably expect: cardiovascular endurance, muscular endurance and strength, flexibility, and body composition. These are the absolute cornerstones of your general well-being. Then you get into the motor-related stuff. This is where it gets really interesting. We're talking about power, speed, agility, but also things like reaction time and kinesthetic awareness, which is basically your body's built-in GPS, knowing where it is in space without you having to think about it. This is the stuff that really separates the good from the great. And hey, a quick but super important piece of intel from the field: stay hydrated. Seriously, it sounds basic, but it's non-negotiable. Being dehydrated messes with everything from your endurance to your focus. Don't overlook it. All right, now let's get into the rules of engagement. When it comes to building strength, there are some fundamental laws that you just can't ignore. This is how you build a body that's truly resilient. And the order here is absolutely critical. You start with joint flexibility and tendon strength. That's your chassis, the foundation. Then you build up your core and all those tiny stabilizer muscles that protect your joints. Only after all that is in place do you start focusing on big, powerful movements. It's all about building from the inside out. You know, real progress always follows a logical path. You can't just jump from being a recruit to being an elite operator overnight. You have to escalate the challenge in a smart way. And this progression just makes so much sense. First, you might need some assistance just to handle your own body weight. Then, you master your body weight. After that, you can start adding an external load, weights. And only then, once you've built that solid base, do you start working on explosive power. It's a ladder, and you gotta climb every rung. So, we've gathered our intelligence, we know the rules of engagement. Now it's finally time to draw up the battle plan. This is where we get into the nuts and bolts of designing an actual program. Now, depending on your goal, the variables you play with will change. For aerobic or endurance training, we use the FIT principle: frequency, intensity, time, and type. But for strength work or anaerobic stuff, it's a little different. It's first. We still have frequency, intensity, and type, but we swap out time for repetitions and sets. It's a small change, but it totally shifts the focus from duration to volume. And before you write a single workout, every single one of your goals has to pass the SMAR test. It needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and have a timeline. If it doesn't check all those boxes, it's not a goal, it's just a wish. This keeps everything grounded and on track. So how do you put all these principles, all these different pieces, together into a repeatable professional process? Well, there's an 8-step playbook for that. And here it is, the whole shebang. You start with analysis and assessment. You gotta know where you're starting from. Then you build the long-term plan and the specific program. Then comes the actual training and coaching. But look, it doesn't stop there. You're constantly monitoring, tweaking the training as you go, and using feedback to make it better. It's not a straight line. It's a continuous loop. So the biggest takeaway here is that success in fitness is never an accident. It's engineered. It's a deliberate process of planning, executing, and adapting. You've got the blueprint now. The only question left is, what mission will you design?